Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy, How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is about the differences between ISFPs and INFPs. Some people are still confused about certain personality types because, like in the case of ISFPs and INFPs, they are the sensor version of the other. So, if we look at the function stacks of these two personality types, is that the sensor function has been substituted for the intuitive function in the INFP. So let's dive deeper to understand the difference between these two. So if we look at the ISFPs, is that they are sensor perceivers. So the theme of their lives is movement and freedom. And so these are the type of people who will be drawn to entrepreneurship, even in terms of entertainment. So they can be songwriters, singers, they can be actors. And these are the type of people who are not very much into, let's say, the limelight. So they are introverts. So although they are entertainers, they're not going to be the type of people who want to be on the red carpet all the time, to be photographed. So they are the true quote unquote artist. And so in other words, they love the craft, they love actually making it, but they are not very fond of, let's say, if they have to promote their, let's say, art or having to go to interviews. They're not fond of that. So examples would be someone like Johnny Depp, or even in terms of the former boy band One Direction. Zayn Malik also would be a good example. So that these are type of people who are quite reflective, because when we look at their function stack, is that their third one is introverted intuition. So they are the most intuitive of all the sensor perceivers. So that's why actually many people who are ISFPs believe they're INFJs because of that fact, because obviously they are introverts and they are very introspective. So the art that they produce tends to have maybe more depth. It's more sort of like reflective compared to the other sensor perceivers. And they're not the type of individual who like a lot of risk. So you won't see them enjoying something like, let's say, the army, or becoming a professional, let's say, boxer. That usually is not the type of activity that they enjoy, although they might want to stay physically fit, but they won't be attracted to physical violence from their point of view. The other interesting aspect when it comes to ISFPs is that they are sensors, and specifically they are sensor perceivers. So they have slow beta brain dominance, about like 12 cycles per second for that particular type, which would be translating to a resting breathing rate of about 12 times a minute in terms of their optimal one. But if they are stressed, they might breathe faster, so they probably would breathe through the mouth. The tongue is not in the right position, it doesn't shape the jaw properly, so you won't see a lot of ISFPs with 32 straight teeth. Wow. What you'll see is that if they do have straight teeth, that they had to remove their wisdom teeth, or they might have crooked teeth at the bottom. And that is something that is common with sensor perceivers compared to intuitives. And the other point is that as a sensor perceiver, they are not universal healers. So they, as an ISFP, they will have a healing effect on pretty much all the sensor perceivers and also the sensor judgers, but not, let's say, when it comes to intuitive thinkers or intuitive feelers, because their energy is not strong enough to have that effect. Let's see if we compare that to the INFP. Is that the INFPs, they are obviously intuitive feelers, they are natural healers, so they will have a healing effect pretty much on all the personality types. And with the INFPs, that yes, just like the ISFP, they have introverted feeling as their first function. So in other words, the goal of their lives is spirituality and meaning, but also it has to do with being aligned with their own values and morals. They can come across often as self-absorbed, just like the ISFP can be. When you actually, let's say, encounter an INFP, is that even in terms of how they dress. So you'll see the INFP tends to be rather stylish. So if you think about someone who's very much a new ager, so they like clothes that are unique, that's been handmade. They're not the type to be really into anything extreme, so they tend to have a very feminine type of style compared to the ISFP, because the ISFP as a sense of perceiver is the artist, and they might, let's say, even have, let's say, tattoos, or having, let's say, blue hair or something of the sort, but you won't see that with the INFP. So with the intuitives, actually, in general, you won't see them with tattoos, even in the sense of genders as well. Just you won't see that. So you won't go to your bank or your insurance company and see someone with piercings and blue hair, giving you advice about your accounting. Usually you won't see that. If we actually look at the INFC's brainwave dominance, it is alpha. So they are in a light meditative state. So because of that, in terms of the resting breathing rate, their optimal one is around 9 breaths per minute. So in other words, because of that type of brain and the type of energy that is matched with that, is that they will have a healing effect on pretty much everyone except the ENFJs and the INFJs. And because of that, even if they're stressed, they're most likely breathe through the nose, so the tongue will be in the right position. So they're more likely to have 32 straight teeth. So that's the first thing you're going to notice compared to the other personality types. With the INFP is that they tend to have a wider jaw, and also in terms of how they would come across, they're even more reclusive than the ISFJ. So they're both introverts, but being an intuitive feeler, they're even more sensitive to subtle energy. So they probably need even more time alone to recharge. Another point to keep in mind when it comes to the sensor perceivers and intuitive feelers, there are a lot more sensor perceivers than NFs. So you'll come across a lot more ISFPs than INFPs. Another point is that because of the type of work that ISFPs are attracted to, they're more in the public eye than INFPs. So you'll see more, let's say, entertainers, actors, artists that are ISFPs. Although INFPs have this artistic sense, but they are not driven to entrepreneurship. So you won't see them as much in the public eye. And because the theme of their lives is spirituality and meaning, when they do art, it's not so much to entertain as much as just to explore the spiritual aspect of life. So that's why you won't see them as much in the public eye. So again, this is something that you will come across often in your day-to-day life. So again, I'd say that it's a good idea to explore these differences so that you can better determine your type and that of others in your life. So I trust this information was interesting. Maybe you learned something. If you did, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.